I recently made a video on Leonard from The Big Bang Theory, and it seemed to resonate with a lot of people, so I've decided to return to The Big Bang before moving on to my other ideas. In the first video, I argued that Leonard is secretly the main character of the show. Sheldon, of course, is the more iconic character. He's the one people remember, the one with the catchphrases, the one with the Penny. But today I want to discuss the deeper truth about Sheldon Cooper, because beneath the jokes, the ego, and the rigid routines, Sheldon might actually be one of the most psychologically interesting characters in sitcom history. One of the reasons Sheldon works so well as a character is that he's completely reliable. In a world where everything changes constantly, Sheldon does not. He wears the same colourful graphic t-shirts, he sits in the same spot on the couch, he eats the same food on the same nights. And every time you watch the show, you know exactly what you're going to get. In many ways, Sheldon is the ultimate comfort character. If you've had a boring day, you might watch something chaotic, like Breaking Bad, but if you've had a chaotic day, you might just want to watch something easy and reliable. You want to see a character you know almost as well as a friend. Better in fact, and Sheldon provides that in a very pure way. He is predictable, ritualistic, almost mathematical in his personality. Interestingly, when Sheldon does begin to change in the later seasons, some people feel the show itself begins to lose something. Maybe that's not a coincidence. Maybe Sheldon is a character the audience actually needs to stay the same. Maybe he's the character who was never meant to change. Sheldon isn't just unusual, he's exceptional. One of his defining traits is his intelligence, and with that comes something he frequently refers to as his eidetic memory. An eidetic memory is the ability to recall information with extremely high precision after seeing it only once. It's something described as a photographic memory, although that's not exactly the same thing. Everything Sheldon reads, studies, or learns becomes part of his permanent mental library, and that gives him a kind of power. But it also creates a distance between him and everyone else. Because when your brain works that differently from the people around you, normal conversation can feel like operating on completely different wavelengths. There's a famous idea in psychology that extreme intelligence can actually be isolating. Essentially, the smarter someone becomes in a narrow academic field, the fewer people there are who can meet them at that level. For Sheldon, this problem is magnified. He grew up as a child prodigy in East Texas, a place where theoretical physics wasn't exactly the dominant topic of conversation, not that it is anywhere really. From a very young age, Sheldon was fundamentally different from everyone around him, not just smarter but interested in something else, and when that happens, social isolation can begin very early. You can imagine what school must have been like. Personally, I think young Sheldon shows a very family-friendly and mild version of the hardships he would likely have gone through. The hyper-intelligence, the idiosyncrasies, and the lack of social awareness, it's a perfect recipe for bullying, which leads us to this. One of Sheldon's most obvious traits is his enormous ego. He constantly reminds people that he is the smartest person in the room. He dismisses other people's opinions, and he often seems completely uninterested in whether people like him. At first glance, this looks like arrogance, but psychologically there's another possibility. For some people who experience excessive bullying or ostracization in their childhoods, a kind of psychological shift happens. Instead of desperately trying to win approval from others, they stop caring about other people's opinions entirely, and instead, they build their identity around their own self-evaluation. If the world rejects you, reject the world back. In that sense, Sheldon's egomania might not be pure arrogance, it might actually be armor, a way of protecting himself from a world that never quite accepted him. Another reason Sheldon fascinates audiences is that his communication style is so different from everyone else's. He struggles with sarcasm, he interprets language literally, and he frequently misses cues in conversations. While the show never explicitly labels Sheldon with a diagnosis, many viewers have noticed that his behavior resembles traits associated with autism. Difficulty reading social signals, strong attachment to routines, deep, specialized interests. Whether intentional or not, at the time Sheldon became one of the most recognizable portrayals of neurodivergence in mainstream television, and interestingly, the show doesn't treat that difference as something that needs to be erased. Instead, the world slowly learns to adapt to Sheldon. His friends learn his rules, they understand his routines, and over time, what initially looks like dysfunction becomes something closer to a functional but different operating system. One of Sheldon's strongest traits is his resistance to change. New routines disturb him, new environments stress him out. But if you look at young Sheldon, something interesting appears. You see the child version of Sheldon is actually more flexible than the adult one, and even more adventurous, which raises a question. What happened? One of the most significant events in Sheldon's life is the death of his father. For anyone, losing a parent is destabilizing. But for someone who already depends on stability and routine, it can be psychologically devastating. Suddenly, the structure of the world disappears overnight, and when that happens, some people respond by tightening control over everything they can. Schedules, rules, routines. Sheldon's famous contracts and rituals may not just be quirks. In Season 9, we also learn that Sheldon is a hoarder, which is another common symptom of profound loss.
My fortress of shame.
All of these idiosyncrasies are attempts to keep the world from changing. There's another reason Sheldon works so well as a character. He says the things we normally suppress. Most of us spend our days navigating social rules. We soften criticism, we hide irritation, and sometimes we pretend to be polite. But Sheldon doesn't do any of that. If someone is wrong, he tells them, and because we can't behave like that in real life, it becomes funny to watch someone who can. Comedy often comes from the parts of ourselves we repress. When people think of Sheldon Cooper, they often think of arrogance, awkwardness, and eccentricity, but beneath all of that is something more complicated. A child genius who never quite fit into the world around him. Someone who learned early that being different could be painful. Someone who responded not by blending in, but by building a personality that didn't need anyone's approval. The ego, the routines, the rules. They might not just be personality traits, they might be survival strategies. And maybe that's why Sheldon resonates with so many people, because deep down most of us have felt like outsiders at some point. Most of us have tried to protect ourselves in strange ways, and most of us have built little routines and identities that help us feel safe in a confusing world. Sheldon just does it more loudly. So while Leonard might secretly be the main character of The Big Bang Theory, Sheldon might be the character that unexpectedly reveals the most about us. Thank you for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, it really helps out. This was my second video, and in the future I plan to create video essays on all kinds of things. Other characters and concepts from TV and film, but also psychological and philosophical reflections on life in general. If you're interested in that kind of thing, subscribe. And let me know in the comments, who was your favourite character from The Big Bang?